And we'll be starting on page 8 of the handout, so if you want to go to page 8, that would be great. And everybody should have a handout, one per workstation. I printed those off. So I know some of you, of course, don't download them. I'm the same way. I never download any of the papers. And then also, I did put the handout into data sets. So anybody that wants to just double click on the data set, the handout is a PDF file. You can launch that and put that next to AutoCAD and double up. So 3:30? Ready to go? No? 3:29? 3:20. Got to make 1 minute. Thank you. Question. Yeah, you'll see my name under the data sets, J.C. Malitsky, and then just double click and you'll see the folder with our class name. Look a little different. I think it's time to start, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Doing good? Doing good. How many first-timers are here? Raise your hand. First time? Whoa, very good. All right, very, very good. More than one time. Last class of the day, correct? Very good. And we go to 7 o'clock, correct? Just go ahead and see if you're still awake. That's what it is here. All right, let's get started and have a great hour and a half. It'll be fun. There we go. All right. Okay. A couple things we want to get started before I get to introduction. First thing we talked about are data sets and making sure that we have in our status bar, make sure you have those 5 set. Those of you who use AutoCAD, those 5 settings in our running object snaps will probably solve 98% of your drafting needs if you keep those 5 on. Now I know if you're a civil engineer, maybe Node would be another one, but let's set those if you haven't done so already. All right? Okay, so we want to have these 4 turned on. All right, we don't use ortho anymore. We use tracking with our polar tracking set to 90, and only use ortho when we really need it. Ortho is like a superseded command. All right, I'm going to move on. The next thing that I want you to do is take a look and type in these commands and see how the styles of our cutting plane has been created. If you've opened that first drawing for me, just type in these 2 commands, try one, and let's take a look and see if yours are similar to this, where we have AU 2017 and we're in 3rd angle projection because we're here in the States and not 1st angle projection, right? So we want to make sure that this is set. We're not going to really worry about our thread size and style today. That's not important. But so when you're starting off and we're going to create some 2D drawings, we want to make sure that some of these settings are set. All right? And they all should be. This should all be set for you. All right? There we go. Let me introduce our starting lineup of assistants. Craig, where are you? Craig, where did Craig go? Oh, there we go, Craig. A little bit about yourself. Quick. Yes. So in other words, Craig's from Green Bay, if you didn't catch that out. And where do you work?
I teach at Fox Valley Technical College in Appleton, Wisconsin. Been there 27 years. That's me.
Thank you. Thank you. Tracy.
I'm Tracy Chadwick from Hutchinson, Kansas. I teach at Hutchinson Community College, and I'm going on my 17th year there.
Okay, great. Hung?
I'm from Canada, the land of love. So I also have a section called how to make an Iron Man suit on Thursday. And I've been doing a lot of 3D modeling, product for about 25 years. Still keep doing it. So we'll see you on Thursday. Fly away with me.
Thank you. Thank you. So anytime we have any questions, I got the 4 of us up there, right? You can ask us any questions when we go through our class today. All right? So when we go through our class today, let me tell you how we're going to set up the class. The class is going to be a learning cycle. And a learning cycle basically is where I do a little lecture. I will do a demonstration. And when I sit down to do a demonstration, do not touch your mouse. The mouse has been programmed as hot lava. And if you touch your mouse when I'm demonstrating, it will burn your hand. That was a joke, right? Okay. All right, so we want to make sure we do that. And then when we break to activity, the third part, that's where your hands on. Each of the activities that we're going to do today are roughly 5 to 7 minutes long. There's 7 basic activities in doing 3D to 2D with sections in AutoCAD, but I'm going to show you an 8th one, how we can get true size and true shape of an inclined object. It's not documented in AutoCAD, so I'm going to show you how to do that also. All right? So let's take a look at our goals today and what really are our goals of what's going on today. When you look at your objects that you do in 3D, we're going to do part models. Now I know we have architects here, architectural types. We have civil people that do civil, but it's really the concepts and the techniques that we're going to be learning. So I have 3 exercises for you in full sections, but you only need to do 1. I will demonstrate how to do 1 of the 3, and for those of you who are fast, try another one. So I've added a few extras in there for you. All right? Second of all, we're going to do some offset sections. So in the case of half sections or offset sections, I've got 2 offset sections. I've got a half section that we're going to be doing from 3D models. Then we're going to look at aligned and how we're going to do alignments and get true size coming down to see if AutoCAD really does it the correct way. See if there's any gotchas. And also we're going to remove components. Get rid of some of the components that are there, of course, pins and socket head cap screws and things like that that we don't want in a sectioned view. We're also going to look at details. So we're going to take this part from an airplane and we're going to detail it out with different details of different scales. And then we're going to do a really simple problem, but getting true size and true shape of an inclined surface from AutoCAD, from 3D to 2D. Last thing we're going to do, and I'm going to keep going fast, is that we're going to go in and we're going to export a layout. Now, a little story. I like to tell stories. And one of my stories is this. A few years ago, I do a lot of consulting for different companies. My name's J.C. Malitsky. I'm out of Chicago. So Craig and I always argue about Bears, Packers. He always wins, but it's reality, right? To be able to do that. And I've been teaching here at Autodesk University. This is my 22nd year presenting at Autodesk University. And I have presented here, I've been at Autodesk University 25 years. This is my 25th year, so I've attended every single one. I was a former community college professor, left education, started my own consulting firm, do training all over the United States. And for AutoCAD, and again, I'm based out of Chicago, and I love being here, and I want to thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. So I'm going to be your edutainer for the last class of the day. All right? So speaking of that, I'm sitting here at Autodesk University, and we're running the big breakout sessions. And one of the things that I did for a couple companies is I took their 3D models. Some of the 3D models came from a competitive product, and I translated them into AutoCAD. Created the 3D models in AutoCAD, created the 2D orthographic views, a whole bunch of different views, assemblies, sections, and all of that for 2 companies in the last few years. One of those companies' stuff is here at Autodesk University. And I was like blown away when I'm sitting there and looking up at the ceiling saying, I did that, and that's on their website, the 3D and the 2D models of what I did for that company. So I felt really good about that. That's true. It is, yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but next time you go in the big hall, start looking up and say, JC did one of those. And that's true. It's a true story. So let's take a look. Those are the goals. That's what we're going to do. So we want to create some views. If we have time, we'll edit the models. We're going to do the undocumented auxiliary views, and then we want to export that out. And I've already talked about that. So with that thing said, and again, architect, civil, mechanical, piece part manufacturing, there's only one thing we really need to look at is a technique that you would use at your company. So regardless of the object that we're doing, I want you to think about how would you do it at your company for the type of 3D objects that you have, solids or surfaces, not 3D faces, and not polymesh faces, but solids and surfaces. So again, a couple of these I grabbed off of GrabCAD the other day, but same thing here, regardless if it's architecture, massing models, some really high-end stuff. Again, you can always pull off those models in 3D, do sections however you want, as long as they're good, clean 3D models. But let's go back and let's talk a little history before we get started. Many years ago, I call this old school, we had 3 different AutoCAD commands to create different types of views. Sol View, Sol Draw, Sol Prof. They're still in AutoCAD. They're still there, and you could do that. But if you look at the drawings carefully, you just see viewports right here. So we created the 4 views using Sole View to create those of multiple viewports. And then we drew them, and then we did profiles of them. Haven't done one of those in 20 years. Okay? Then came along Flatshot. And Flatshot's been around, and people write about it. You see it on YouTube videos all the time. And based on the UCS coordinate and based on your viewing angle, you can blast a 2D shot and bring that up to the glass plane. Those of you at drafting classes, you know what I mean by projecting that third angle projection to that glass plane, right? So you're able to do that. And then, of course, you've seen a few of these here where you have the section plane command. And I can run different live sections or sections through different objects and create something different. But all of these here that I've just shown you, we're not going to do. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go in and use drawing views. Anybody use Autodesk Inventor in here? Same thing in Autodesk Inventor. Well, not quite the same, but you get my point. Very, very close. So it's the same concept of how we're going to let AutoCAD do the work for us from those 3D models. So again, think of your discipline, how it's all set up, and that's what we're going to do. So everybody, let's turn to page 8. Double check to see that you have that impeller model on the screen, and let's get started. I'm going to demo now. Demonstration. Check those hands there. That's right. Very good, Craig. Okay, so in the first exercise, I'm going to do this one of the first 3. If you get this one done, try another one. Just keep going. I'm only going to give you about 5 to 7 minutes per exercise. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to take a look at this 3D model. This is a real-world 3D model of an impeller for a fuel pump. It's been modified considerably, and we've also went in and actually cut threads. Those are actually cut threads to that size. So if I had a nut, I could screw the nut on because I cut those in AutoCAD. I'm going to go in and select the ANSI B layout of what I'm going to do. And then I want to call your attention up here to the Layout tab. And I want everybody to use that Layout tab of what we're going to create. Also notice we have no viewports. There's no viewports here. There's just a blank piece of paper with our title block and border on it. When I select my layout, the first thing that I'm going to do is to go to the base view. And I'm going to select from model space. So base view from model space. Now if you have a drawing that's open, which we do, from model space, we're going to go and select it, and there's our view. Now you're going to say, well, wait a second, look at that orientation. That orientation is perfect. Well, the orientation is perfect because I've done this so many times, I know what I want to have done before I create the views. I don't know if you noticed, but the UCS was all set. My part was sitting planar to the UCS that I wanted. I had everything positioned perfect before I did this. Why did I do it that way? Because I want my job easier. And second of all, I want to make it easy for you guys, right? So we can go through all this. You can always change the orientation. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, and when I teach beginners in AutoCAD, I say every beginner that I've ever taught fails this one thing. The thousands of students, both college students, high school students, industry professionals, every single one has failed this test. In 30 years, I started AutoCAD in 1985. That's when I started using AutoCAD. They failed to read the bottom of the screen. So if your orientation isn't right? Change your orientation by clicking orientation. For this class, you shouldn't have to do that. I preset it up for you. But when I come in and I look at this, I realize I have an issue. I don't like my scale. I really don't like to scale how I've set that up. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to go in and I want to reset that scale. So I'm going to go in and set the scale. Let's change it up to 1:1. Let's see how that looks. There it is. And I'm going to sort of place it right in the middle and click Exit. This is all in your handout. I'm going to project over to get that view, and then I'm going to project over to get the isometric view, and then I'm going to right-click and go to Enter. And what will happen is AutoCAD will create those views. Notice the true cut threads, and everything is set for me. The next thing that I want to do is I don't really like this view, so I'm going to click on the view, and then I always like to go up to Edit View. And when I go up to Edit View, I want to change the shaded lines on there. I want to make it look nice. And then maybe what I want to do is I want to come over and turn off anything on edge visibility to make that isometric view shaded and kind of nice looking. The next thing that I want to do, though, is to go in and create a full section. Now, one of the things that I look at here is this is in the wrong spot. So if I click on this and I move it up, you could see the parent is moving the child, and that's okay for what we're doing today. The next thing that I want to do is to create that full section and run it through and let AutoCAD do the work for me. To do that, I have to be very careful because this is kind of a complicated part, especially with the threads. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom it up a little bit. And I'm going to go into section, full section. We're going to do all of these that are listed right here. So all of these listed we're going to be doing today. So let me zoom that up. See? That's what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to go to a full section, and I'm going to select my view that I want a full section. But what I want to do is I want to zoom in here. Now, carefully, I want to come in and make sure that I grab the midpoint of that line. I can't find the midpoint. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to come down here and check to see, is midpoint turned off? No, midpoint's turned on. I'm going to come over here to section, go to full section, select my view, and I want the midpoint of that line. There, I got it. But wait. I'm going to hover. Don't pick it. I'm going to hover and track to the left. Okay, I'm tracking. Click right there. Then I'm going to track all the way to the other side. Just eyeball it for today. Right? Oh, I don't know what happened. My polar tracking turned off. So I want to turn my polar tracking. If you can see in the lower right corner, something got turned off. I don't know how that happened. A little gotcha there. I'm going to select my polar tracking, put that back on, and there's my tracking vector. So I go ahead and select that. That looks kind of nice. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that down. And there I click exit. And there's my part nice and sectioned. Now notice the section line is blue, the cutting plane line is red, because at the beginning of class, remember I set up AU 2017, that cutting plane style. So I already set it up for us to use. Let me run another one, another full section real quick here. I'm going to run a full section here. I'm going to get to the midpoint, don't pick it, drag it up to track, click, drag it all the way down, click, and press enter. All right, now it says to place the view. Well, I'm in trouble, right? If I tap the shift key and place it right there and press exit, there it is. And now I've moved that alignment out by tapping the shift key. If I don't like the position, I could always move this up a little bit, and there it is. So I was able to create two full sections through that, going each different way, but the key is to make sure you've got midpoints for this to work. If you don't do that, something's not going to work right. So we'll see how that works. Ready? Everybody ready? Was that pretty fun? Was that pretty easy? Was that fun? Yes, Jay. Well, thanks, class. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. 5 minutes. Ready, go. As we're working on, did anybody do it where the hatch pattern did not show up? We got one person, 2 people, 3 people. 4 people. Some people don't want to raise their hand. Does anybody know why the hatch pattern did not show up on some of the people's drawings that you did? You did it wrong. Good answer. That is correct. Yeah, you did do it wrong. Remember, as we're finishing up, remember that you can turn on and off the hatch. At the bottom of the screen, if you read the bottom of the screen or any of the menus, you'll see hatch turn on and off. You can always try to turn the hatch pattern on and off. But that probably won't work anyway if you screwed it up. So the question becomes, why did it screw up? Does anybody know why it screwed up on 4 people and about 5 people who didn't answer? It's AutoCAD. No, AutoCAD's great. Great product. Is there any Autodeskers in here, first of all, that work for Autodesk? Raise your hand. You always got to be careful with this. Any Autodeskers in here? No? All right. Raise your hand if you are. No? If you're an Autodesker who didn't raise their hand when I just asked to raise your hand, could you raise your hand? Anybody? No. Can anybody figure out why the 4 people didn't work? It's going to happen to you. Why didn't it work? Anybody have an idea? Because they didn't follow directions. That's the real answer. What happens is on certain models, especially this one is kind of sophisticated because of the way it was designed. If you don't slice it just perfectly, the hatch pattern won't show no matter what you do. You can't turn it on, you can't scale it, you're in trouble. You just got to go back and make sure you're very accurate in what you're doing.
Jay, one
Yeah.
question. Creating these, if I went back and changed the model, would it update the section?
Right, if we have time, we'll edit models. Remember, there is directional associativity. If you change anything in any of these models, this drawing view will update. Okay, that's the power of drawing views. Remember all the other stuff I showed you, sole view, sole draw, flat shot? None of that changes. This all changes when you edit the model. Yeah?
Last question. Does it have to be, does the model have to be live in this?
The question on the floor is, I have all the models open for you to make it simple and easy. The models do not need to be open. If your AutoCAD model is not open, you can go and get it anywhere and just pull it out of your server and just put it right on the screen. Right. So if we had time, we would have done inventor models. All the inventor models are on the data set. You just go out and get them. Right? So if they're not local, they'll pop up. All right, let's turn to page 14. We've got to move on. Page 14. All right, I'm only going to give you 3 minutes. Watch this one here. All right. There's only 7 steps, so watch. Here we go. Demo time. All right, here we go. We're going to do a half section. So I'm going to go to my Layout tab, and I have already created the base view for you just to save time. See what I mean? I'm going to go up to Section, and I'm going to select Half Section, and I'm going to select the edge of that view. And now it says do the start point. Well, you got to zoom in here, hover over the midpoint, don't pick, track it to right there, come to the center, pick right there, and let's see if I just hit, you think, should I pick my next point or should I just hit enter? I don't know, what do you think I should do? Just press enter, okay. Let's see what happens. No, it won't let me do that. Okay, yeah, I guess I got to pick right there. Now when I start to bring this down, here my view comes like this, and notice there's a pick called depth. Let me zoom this up for you so everybody can see it. We want to use depth. So I'm going to select depth, and if you look in the top view, you see this little black line. As I move my cursor, this depth marker will slice off the stuff behind it. Because in a technical drawing, we really don't want to see the legs behind the front. We just want to see what we sectioned. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to eyeball this just a hair. How much? A hair. There it is. Well, that's good enough. It'd be 1/1000th of an inch. And click exit. And once you do that, now you see what's missing. The back legs have been sliced off because I used that depth marker just a hair below that. So when you place the view, you have to go to depth. It's in the handout. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a projected view of the front, and I'm going to place that right there. And press enter. Now, I don't like that view. I mean, maybe that's okay. I could select that view. I always like to go up to edit view. That's just my workflow. And I could always change the size of that. I could go to 1 to 2 and make it larger. But I do want to call your attention to cut inheritance. Cut inheritance. And if I go to cut inheritance and turn that section cut off, what I can get in this view, let me zoom it back down, there's my cut inheritance, and I've taken off that cut because that's what I wanted to see. You got it? All right, you got 3 minutes. Ready? Go. All right, can we move on? You guys getting it? How many people are having fun so far? Raise your hand. Very good, very good. I like to hear that. Very good. Oh, you very good. Candy bar for you, for your clap. Very good. Applause is always welcome. And these are not the leftovers from, my wife didn't say, my wife said, do you need these? I can give you leftovers. I told her, no, I'm buying new stuff. It's all good. It's a true story. She goes, Jay, you always give away candy. Should we just give the stuff that we have left over from Halloween? No, can't do that. Can't do that. No, we buy the nice stuff in my house. We don't give, we get good stuff. All right, let's turn to page 17, everybody. Page 17, let's move on. Let's open up that front fork drawing, and then just watch my demo. So open up the front fork drawing. So as you're opening up front fork drawing, We sort of changed it. I know it's kind of hard to see with the lighting in here, but as soon as we go to the other drawing, you'll be able to see it nice. All right. So we've gone over a few problems already. Anybody in here can use this, what we're showing you? Can anybody use what we're doing? Raise your hand. There we go. I don't have enough candy bars to go around. Very good. Those of you who didn't raise your hand, no candy bars for you, that's for sure. All right. There we go. Look at how everybody's got their hands up in front. Everybody wants one. Here. Well, we got more questions coming up. All right. So let's take a look at this. We've sort of done an assembly here of a 3D model. And in this case, I'm going to go to the front fork, so please watch what I'm going to do. In this view, one of the things that we want to do is to do an offset section. So you can see I've already got that top view set for you ready to go. And as I select the Layout tab and go to an offset section, I select that view and I hover over, and this is the hard part, because I hover over that. Let's see if I can keep the, there we go, I got it. Track that, I lost it. This one's going to be a little difficult to do. Come on, keep going, keep going. Oh, come on, Jay. There we go. Try it one more time. There we go. Click right there. You can cut it anywhere you want, right? Cut it anywhere you want. Track it up, hover, track that over right there, right? And then where are we going next? Do I hit enter or do I come down? What do I do? Do I come down or am I done? Should I come down? Go down, like right there? All right, I'll pick right there and press enter. Let's see what you told me to do. Whoa, it comes down. There it is. I sort of like that. Is that what I want? And click exit. Whoa. Is that what I wanted? Or no? Huh? What's wrong? What's wrong? Could somebody tell me what's wrong? I can't hear you. Oh, the arrows. It might be a candy bar. No, first we want the right answer before the candy bars come in. So as I can move this anywhere that I want, see, I can move that wherever I want, and then you could get the shape of what you're doing. So I wanted to make a mistake, which we'll all do, right? It's an old teacher trick. I'll make a mistake and see if the class sees that I make a mistake. All right, so I got that one done. I can always move my label to right there. Now, the next thing that I want to do is to be able to create the 3D views, right? So I'm going to go projected. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to project that one up there. And then, sorry about that. I'm going to go to projected, select that view, project this one right there, press enter. All right, I got one done. If I come over here and I do another projected, I'll do it again, and I'll put this one over here, all right, and press enter. So I've got two done. But if I select this view here, go back to edit view, one of the things that I could do is, again, we did this before, got to review it. I can go into cut inheritance and turn that off. And then come over here and put shaded on, and so there I have my three views. Now, of course, you want to move your views down so they look like the handout on page 17. So here we did an offset section with one leg. We did it with both legs. We turn off the cut inheritance. We went ahead and put the shading on, and there we have a nice assembly assembled properly. Okay? You got it? Go, 5 minutes. All right, how we doing? Pretty easy, simple concepts that are there. Now, remember, as we're finishing up with this, these drawing views are linked back to the model. So those of you, when you have time, you may want to go back to one of your other drawings, change the model if you can, to see how that goes. All right? The next one that we're going to be on is page 18. So let's look at page 18 on there. And anybody have a drafting class in any time in your lives? Drafting class, right? All right. And very good. That's good, because a lot of times I used to do the big sessions where I'd have 500, 800 people, and I'd ask how many people did drafting, and like 8 people would raise their hand. And then I felt really seasoned veteran. I was going to say old, but I want to say seasoned veteran. So, we had that back in the day. So you have an arm, and an arm, but in drafting terms, they really need to be like this before they're projected, right? Right? That's called a conventional drafting practice. Well, AutoCAD gives us two methods. It's called normal and it's called orthographic or orthographic or normal of how that's set up. So the question becomes, when we do this, if you had to think before I show you, what would be the proper method to use to project it so it projects straight down, not at the angle? Would we use the normal projection or would we use the orthographic projection? Somebody raise their hand and tell me what you think. There's gifts if you get it right. Okay, go ahead. Orthographic. I'm not sure if that's the correct answer, but I'll give you a book. You can take this home. You can take this home. This is the heaviest AutoCAD book on the market today. Craig, are you co-author on this book?
I am part author.
Very good. He's co-author.
And JC, would you happen to be listening?
Yes, I am. I'm co-author also on this book. Our editor is here, and he said, Jay, we got a couple books. How about handing them out? I said, well, sure. All right. So the answer is, I don't know, but we're going to find out. Okay? Well, I do know, but this makes for a more dynamic presentation, right? All right, so here we go. What I want to do on page 18 is to project that down. So the question is actually on there. You know, if you look at the exercise, you have to go through like 10 steps, 9 steps. But I noticed I did something a little different. I put a little cheater line in there. I put a polyline in there to help me put that cutting plane line the way I want it. So one of the things that you could do is, instead of doing it manually like we've been doing, we've been putting these cutting plane lines in, we've been doing it manually, we could cheat and put polylines in. That just saves us a ton of time, really. Now I'm going to go to layout, just watch up here. I'm going to go to section and I'm going to do an align section. No, I could use align. I'm going to go from object. So we're going to click from object. And the first thing it says is select the parent view. Then it says to select objects. Now what does that mean? Does this mean select that? I think so. And then press enter. Now when I project that down, I'm projecting it down to that location point right there. Now I look at the bottom of the screen and it says projection. So I can select off my pop-up menu here, projection. And there it says normal. So I'm just going to go normal and click normal. Click normal, right? And then exit out. Let's see how it looks. Looks okay, I think. Did you say normal? I can't remember. Did you say normal? You said orthographic. All right. If I click on the view, I go back up to edit view. I'm not sure if that's right. You can see at the top of the screen under the method right here, it says the different method that we can use. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to change it to orthogonal. So what's the answer? Is it orthogonal correct or is it normal correct? Yeah, normal. Here's how you check it. Here's how you would check that. If I drew a line, right, and I drew that line that went out here, and then I drew a circle. I'll just draw it out real here to save some time. Then I drew this circle, right, big a circle around that, and where this line projects here, projects down, that's the answer. So it looks like, based on this part, that the answer would be normal. Okay? Right? Now, there we go. Let's see what I got. I have it set for normal. Right? So I think that's what we're looking for. So the projection, AutoCAD sees it two ways, the right way and the wrong way. And you have to select the right way for what you need to do. I can always edit the hatch pattern. I'm not going to bore you with that. That's simple editing of a hatch pattern. You can always do that if you would like. Pretty simple and basic. So I'm going to give you about 5-7 minutes. Let's do page 18. Go. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask. But go ahead in and put the isometric view in. I know we've done a few of those, but continue getting that habit of how to do that, how quick it is. Again, using cut inheritance or not. It's up to you. Oh, you stole my next question. What do you want, a candy bar or a book? Thank you. There you go. Yeah. No, I was going to ask the question, try projecting the view under normal and see what happens. The answer is it doesn't. On an orthographic it will, on a normal it won't. Yeah, because it's a fake view. All right, so that was my next. You stole my thunder. How's everybody doing? Getting it? So far, pretty good, huh? At the end of the day, isn't this class going fast? We're almost done. Can you believe that? All right, so here's the next thing we got to do. Guys are finishing up with this exercise. Come on, clicker. Here we go. Okay, it's break time. Everybody's got to stand up. Please, everybody stand up. It's break time. You've been sitting all day. How many classes have you been in where the instructor had you stand halfway through the presentation? Zero. That's right. Many years ago, I had a class and I had everybody stand up, and I always say, you know, the mind can only absorb what the seat can endure, right? And now you'll hear a million instructors say that, right, because they stole it from me. That's true. But, so everybody, you stand up and you exercise. But I want to add something here. Say hi to your neighbor. Well, we already did that. You can change drivers. That's the other thing. If you're working with somebody, you want to change drivers, you can change drivers. But here it is. The sports trivia, because most people in here are sports people. So I decided to do a sports trivia thing. 1980, don't yell it out yet. The true city of champions. Cleveland, well, we'll just skip that. Green Bay, I only put that on for Craig. Green Bay, we know that's not, because they only got the Packers, so they're disqualified. LA, what do you think? Are they? No. How about New York? No. Anybody here from Cleveland? Because I know my eval would be terrible from the Cleveland person, right? All right. So no New York. So we're down to Chicago and Boston. Ooh. That's right. The answer is, who said Boston? The answer is Chicago. The answer is Chicago. All right, I think we've won since 1985 12 championships. I think Boston is at 10 or 11 now. So we're the true city of champions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I went to 85 so we would win. That's why. Yeah. You know, this isn't my first rodeo, Craig. You know. All righty, let's everybody sit down. All right. So added a little humor. Got to have that humor, right? Okay, we're on page 19. On page 19, we have an assembly of stuff. Really simple assembly, but I think you'll get my point. It's 20 on yours? How come it's 19 on mine? That's all right. All right, it's okay. Now, it's already done for you. How nice. All right, well, not quite. This is technically totally wrong. It's bad. This is like bad CAD, right? Bad CAD. Because we would never section a full section through that part to get what we want. Now, some people may say this is okay, the ISO view, right? And that's okay if that's what you like. But one of the things that I want to do is I want to go in and take out components. So on that Layout tab, there's one that's called Edit Components. And it says select the components to edit. But now here's the kicker and the easy way to do it. If you take the top of the component, the socket head cap screws, the pins, and you select that, you sort of drive towards it, and you'll pick it. There we go. And you could see how simple it is if you just go the right way. And that's part of the problem. Many times, and I've been guilty of it a million times, I'll just go the wrong direction of what's here. And there it is. And when I press enter, see where it says section slice? We're not going to do slice. I don't know why we'd ever use that. Maybe somebody would know. Click none, and there it is. And now, technically, we are correct. Notice our hatch patterns all go 60 to 90 to 45 degrees from each other, right? It's saying this, we use the same steel pattern. If there was other material on here, this is just 2D AutoCAD, right? I could select that and change my metal pattern if that's what I have. Anybody from England here? From England? Nobody? Because I was always say, for you English people, it's aluminium, right? From us Americans, it's aluminum, right? So we all get it correctly. But that's all we have to do. So the eliminate components that don't need to be sectioned. I'll give you about 3 minutes. Ready, go.
That's just good for the one.
Just do it for that one, yes. All right. How we doing? Doing all right? Everybody's getting it? As we're finishing up that exercise, notice in your isometric view how the isometric view has changed also to be able to depict the changes of what's there. Because remember, pins and keys and socket head cap screws and other things do not get sectioned in any drawing that's there. One of the things I had you do was to go ahead and pick. But what was a faster way to do it instead of picking each one individually? Window, very good. Window. That's it. Don't do it like I showed you. Just do a window over it. Not a crossing. Do a window or a window lasso. Right? You guys are familiar with lassos now? Right? So window and window lasso to be able to do that. That would have been a faster way. Good. Let's turn to page 24. You can go ahead and open the airplane bracket detail. So here's what I want to do. I want to create some details of what I have. I'm on page 23. Is it the same thing with you? It's just called Exercise 6 Details. So sit back and watch for about a minute or two, and then I'll cut you loose, and you could start doing this. On the Layout tab, when I go to Detail, I can do circular or rectangular details. We're going to do both. I'm going to go with circular, and I'm just going to zoom it up right here and pick my view edge, and then pick the center of that object and pull that out of where I want that detail of right there. I'm going to go about, that big. Then I could pull the detail out, and I'm just eyeballing it here, everybody, and go ahead and click Exit. And there's my detail B. Now, the other thing, maybe I shouldn't have that detail B. If I double click on it, I'll go into my Properties palette, right? And I could go ahead and change that to detail A, and notice that the detail will change. Now, this is a detail style like we had before. We don't have time to go over the styles. If you know about textiles, dimension styles, multi-leader styles, table styles, same thing, same concept. You have to set that up in your template drawing of how you want that being done. The other thing that I want to do is I want to click on this here, and maybe I want to update that view. And when I want to update that view, I could go smooth line with a connection and go ahead and place that right there. The other thing that I could do, and again, we're out of, for the sake of time, is we can use parametric constraints. If I come up to parametric, I'm not going to do this, but if I go up to parametric, I could go in and do my concentric, right, and drag my concentric over that arc to that center, and that will lock it on and glue it on perfectly for me so it doesn't move out of position. See what I mean? So you can use your constraints in AutoCAD to position these details. I'll do another detail over here. This one that I'm going to do is when I go to Layout, I'm going to go to Detail, and this time I'm going to select the rectangular detail, pick my view, and again, I'm just going to eyeball it for the sake of time and place that right there. Bring this over, place that right there, and click Exit. Now, one of the things that I can also do is select that grip, switch your grips. That's a warm grip. That's a hot grip. So, of course, when you select it, that turns into a hot grip, and you can move that hot grip. In AutoCAD 2018, just to let you know, there's something brand new. Nobody's ever talked about this. If you select and make that grip a hot grip, and it turns red, if you leave that red grip hot like that and go to lunch, you come back, you could burn a hole in your monitor. It's so hot. So just be careful. For those of you who didn't know that was teacher humor again. All right. So anyway, so there's our grip. Now, what about our detail size? I can always change the scale, right? So I've got the scale to 1 to 2. I could change the scale by selecting it. You've done that before, right? I'm not going to change it, but I can go up and change my scale if I would like. That's right up here. I could go ahead and do that. Now the other thing that I can do is I can come over here and I can run another section view. So if you look on your drawing, you see section BB, right? And section BB goes right through here at this angle, right? So look in your handout, then look up here. There's where your cutting plane, and that's a full section running through that to create section BB over here. Okay? Got it? So here's your assignment. I want you to create the two detail views and see how you could figure out how to put section BB through that part. You're on your own on that one. Ready? Go. All righty, almost finished. Give you about another 30 seconds or so. Did you get it? Outstanding. Outstanding. Very good. Very good. That's right. So those of you who are finishing up and you're happy, let's move on to the next one, next page. Flip it over. All righty, as you're finishing up, one of our class participants said, "Jay, you missed something." I said, "What was that?" He said, "On that assembly where we edited the components and we pulled the components out, I didn't catch it, he did. That one of the hatch patterns was wrong, right? They should be 90 degrees to each other from different assemblies, and it wasn't. It was like at a 60 degree, which in some cases is acceptable, but remember, we can always go back and edit each hatch pattern individually on each part to be able to do this. That was a good catch. Very good. All right, let's take a look at this next problem. Everybody go ahead and open this up. And when we look at this problem that you're going to do, one of the things that we want to do is to do a full section off of that inclined plane. Whoa, inclined plane there that we have. The problem is that I went ahead and I cheated. I just put a polyline right along that incline. If you want to do that when you do the exercise, you can, or you can just try doing a full section across that. But take a look and watch the demo here. The key part, though, is there's a little gotcha there because we have a little fillet in that corner, right? Well, it's actually technically a round, but of course AutoCAD doesn't have the rounds command, right? They have the fillet command. But anyway, what I want to do is I want to go in and create a full section. So I'm going to go into section, I'm going to go to full. Well, no, I'm not going to go full. I'm going to go to section, I'm going to go to from object because I put that polyline object there. I'm going to select my view, I'm going to select my polyline and press enter. And now I'm going to project that true size and true shape of that object to right there and select it, and there it is. It came out perfect. Look at the drawing. What's wrong? There's something missing. What's missing? The label is missing. No, the label's missing. What else is missing? Something else is missing. The cutting plane line. Did you say cutting plane line? Very good. You said it. There you go. The cutting plane line is missing. All right, get a candy bar. Yeah, the cutting plane line is missing. True size and true shape is there. Now I could dimension that, true size and true shape, to get that object there. But the question becomes, why? Why did they go away? Can anybody tell me why they went away? Anybody? No, I cheated and I already had those layers frozen before I did the exercise. Right? So what happens if you look, I didn't mention this yet, it creates its own layering structure. That's maybe a disadvantage, right? Because it's going to throw some layers in there. So when you do this, look at the layers and they're already frozen for you to be able to do that for the hatching layer, for the annotation layer that was created when we created these views. So I knew what I wanted and I already had those pre-frozen for us, so we got our final project without going through those extra steps. So here's what I want you to do. Do the auxiliary view, check your layers and see how it is. Unfreeze the layers and see how it looks. I'll give you about 4 minutes. Go. Okay, we're looking good. Everybody's looking good? Page 26. Page 26. Now, since we're the last class of the day, I'll be staying after if anybody wants to come up and talk to any of us about what the class was about, the handout. If you would, if you need any information, I think I left my email is on the handout somewhere. I'll give you my email. You could always do that. Hopefully in the next month, I'm going to do all of these in videos and put them on my YouTube channel. And it'll have my Digital JC CAD is the name of my company. And it'll be there. Just go to that. You'll see them up there. There's other videos that I've done for Autodesk actually are still up there. Some of them kind of old, but they still work well. So I'll try to put those up there. So we're on our last drawing, our last problem. The class has gone by pretty fast, don't you think? Yeah. Yeah, what does that mean? It's a good class, that's right. I'm out of candy bars, sorry. Yeah. Question? Yeah, if you, the handout, of course, you can always download. If you want some of these files, you have to email me. Yeah, because the files won't be up there anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put them on my YouTube channel. The name of my company is Digital JC CAD. So if you just go to YouTube, I think it's in the handout, my name. It's at the end. Did I put it at the very end? Oh, no, it is at the very front. It's the front page. It's on the front page. The last line on the front page is my email, and then the name of the company will be there. So I'll have those up probably within the next month. I was going to do it before AU, but I didn't want to get Autodesk upset with me if I did it before. All right, so now we come to the end. One of the things that we can do is we can always make changes and edits to our 3D model. And people were asking, as one of the questions on the floor was, what if you edit your model, does something change? Well, the answer is, yes, it would. So if I go in and I delete and take out that part, right, I'm just going to hit the save button for argument's sake. Then I go back over to my view, you can see now that the whole is gone. And it updated it that fast. So any simple changes to what you were doing can be updated to the model. And what key did I use to select the sub-object editing of AutoCAD? Your hand was up first. Control key, very good. You get the last prize of the day. So anytime you create anything in AutoCAD in 3D, remember you can edit it by using the control key. Does anybody ever do polar arrays or path arrays or rectangular arrays in AutoCAD? Right? And they're associative. How do you erase one of the objects in the array? Control, pick, delete. Same thing. Remember the two fancy keys in AutoCAD. Control and Shift. Right. If Shift doesn't work, try Control. If Control doesn't work, use Shift. So that's called sub-object editing of a model or a 2D model. So the last thing we're going to do is this. So our company says, you know, I need to go in and get our airplane bracket, and what we want to do is we want to post this on our website. So a lot of the content that you see that's 2D and 3D, and again, I did this for a couple of companies, it was a really fun job. We were able to post these type of things on their website, but they don't want drawing views. That's not what their contractors want down the line. They want to have a model space drawing of this. So everybody open this up right now. Okay, looks like everybody did. Type in export layout. Export, spell it right. Export layout. And save it to that same folder on your, you know, under my name and then that file name. And then save it. And then AutoCAD should ask you to open it. And there it opens with all the dimensions. Everything that you did in that layout will now be in model space. True size, true shape, 1-to-1. You can go in and dimension it now if you would like, modify the layers, reset the layers, and now bring this to your website to be able to do that. See that? And that's it. I mean, that's how simple it is to bring that over. So remember Sole View, Sole Draw, Sole Prop, Flat Shot section, all of that basically did this for you. In drawing views to export layout gives you the same thing. But again, I could go in and finish dimensioning and finishing off this, erase the title block and border, clean up the drawing, and it's all set ready to go. Now, I just edited that one drawing. I took out that center part because it's associative. Is this view associative back to the original view? Yes or no? No, it's not. Right. Very good answer. Very good. Very good answer. It is not set there. All right? So if you look at the very last page, page 27. All right, 26, 27. You can export a sectional view. But when you export a sectional view in AutoCAD, you get extraneous lines because AutoCAD sees it perfectly and then puts that extra line that's there. Can you delete, like it shows in that view on page 26, number 4. Will that, in the drawing view, are you able to delete that line if it's a drawing view, yes or no? Understand what I'm saying? When I do a section view, you have an extra line that's in there. Turn to page, here it is. 8B, page 8. What?
Don't worry about pages.
Okay, page 27.
On some of them.
Okay, 28 on others. 26 on yours. He's from Green Bay.
Exercise 8B, step 4.
Exercise 8B, step 4. Okay. Did you just say that?
I just tried to, but you
Okay.
kept correcting.
Look at number 1. Look at number 1. See that line that comes down where I make the jog of the section line? That's technically incorrect. That should not be there. You cannot delete that in AutoCAD. It's a gotcha. Autodesk Inventor used to do that years ago. Had the same problem for many years. And now in Inventor, you could go in and select that line, just that one line, and turn it off, the visibility off. So I've been pushing Autodesk for years. You've got to put that feature in AutoCAD to be able to do that. The only way you can really get it out is to do what we just did. Go ahead and do an export a layout, bring the layout back into AutoCAD, and then go and delete that feature because it's a model space feature right now. So that's a little gotcha that we have in AutoCAD. All righty, to close up for today, does anybody have any final Q&A, any questions or comments or anything about the class? Anybody? Yes?
Can you, when you make a section, can you delete its parent and just have the section view itself?
Usually the answer is no. If you try to break the associativity, you can try that and see if it works. I have never ever done to get rid of the parent. The only time I've ever done that is when I go into model space and do that. But you could try that. Just give it a try. Yeah.
Can you create a section without, like, more like an elevation view versus a section view?
Oh, where you're not cutting through.
Correct.
Just turn the cutting plane line into a viewing plane. Just don't cut through it.
Yeah, just cut the face of it. Just like we did on that, I think what you mean, like we did on our auxiliary view. Just put it right on the face, and it takes a picture. That's what flat shot does. Flat shot just takes a picture of that face. On my auxiliary view, it did the same thing, except it just flipped it 90 degrees. So that would be a try. Flat shot's still a viable tool to be able to use. Good question. No more candy bars. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a great class. Don't you think? Yeah, very. Thank you very much. And lastly, I want to thank Craig and Hung and Tracy for all the help that they get, helping everybody out. Again, I want to thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. Everybody stayed in class, which was great. You've got those surveys to fill out. Please fill out the surveys. They're very important to us working with Autodesk on what's going on. And if we've done a good job, please put good comments. If we've done a poor job, please put down Bill Smith, instructor. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.